Okay, we are doing a reading here on the power grid and a possible disruption to the power grid that could happen by way of an EMP attack, that could happen from a solar flare, and it could also happen just from incompetence and accidents, and that sort of thing can happen. Now, if it was incompetence, it would probably be on a local level, but I'm kind of looking at mass scale power grid disruptions and random word. Pickle juice number 22. Okay, we'll just leave them like that. All right. So the root card is the Seven of Swords, and the Seven of Swords is a lot of pressure. So the jester feels very compelled to do this trick, and the rope is about to break, and the jester is about to swallow that sword. So this, I mean, I'm guessing this is just either a lot of pressure to harm the power grid or pressure on the power grid itself. And the main card we get is the Ace of Cups. And the Ace of Cups is pretty much fulfillment and happiness, so this does not look bad. Unless this is showing the moon affecting the tides, which would come up and fuck everything up. So let's just see, what we got coming off of the Ace of Cups, the Star. Now, this is interesting because the Star, so here the water is being poured out, and this is basically like the harmonious energy from the universe. This is a blessing. So the water in the star is this purifying force, and it renews hope, and it cleanses out a bunch of crap, right? The star is basically getting your wish coming true. Now, this energy that's coming down, it's pretty much the same energy that is in the Ace of Cups coming from the moon. The moon is blowing a blessing into the cup. So, I mean, one way to read this, this is all very good stuff. This is very harmonious, like blessing type energy. Another thing that is coming out of here, though, is the water. Like, maybe this is some sort of a tidal thing. I don't exactly know how a rising tide could affect the power grid, but I don't know that much about how power grids work. But I would not take this as any sort of EMP attack. I would not take this as a solar flare. If anything, this would come from water and tides, but this doesn't look bad. This doesn't look like a disaster by any means. In fact, coming off of this Seven of Swords, which shows a bunch of pressure, this would be that pressure being alleviated. So maybe it's showing that finally people are going to start protecting their power grids. I know it does happen in some countries. I do not live in a country where they really give a shit about that, but this would show more of a blessing energy than any sort of disruption. So let's just look out here a little further and see what we got. Why, it's the Page of Cups, so we get another Cups card and another reference to water and to the sea. So, looking at all of this, I think that we should be safe from the EMP attack or from the massive disruption to the power grid. And that is pretty good news. I looked at the Lenormand earlier about this, and the Lenormand is more doom and gloom, right? But the Lenormand showed the tower and the mice, and the tower and the mice together shows a lack of protection or theft coming from authorities, um, or companies. So this would show the lack of protection. And I think that is actually what is showing here in the 7, but from the space where there's so much pressure put onto it, this looks like it would get the attention that it requires. And the Page of Cups is a healer. So this is like the emotionally driven, optimistic, youthful healer. Um, and here they find the fish flopping around on the beach and they put the fish in the cup and bring them back to the ocean. So it shows this sort of healing energy, this harmonious exchange, and it's not like a permanent thing. This is an energy that sort of comes in and disappears, but that could be an effort to actually stabilize or protect the power grid in general. And maybe that's what comes out of this whole ordeal, and the scare of possible EMP attacks is the governments will finally just work to protect this stuff, because eventually the sun is going to shoot out a solar flare and it's going to wipe everything out, um, unless it is very, very, very well protected, and eventually the sun's going to explode and destroy the earth, but that's quite a ways from now. So it looks like, at least in the immediate future, that we should be okay. If you have any comments or questions or other topics you want me to look at, feel free to leave a comment, and peace.